Discipline makes you a king or a queen. That means when you do what is easy when you are young, what is hard waits for you when you're old. When you do what is comfortable when you are young, what is uncomfortable waits for you when you are old. My topic today is to create a balance between Dunya and Akhirah. And I will begin by explaining to you what I understand on the word balance. I don't call it a word. To me, it is a concept. It is a concept that you use to get the best out of this life and the best out of the other life. Just like the way the Quran encourages us to pray, which is a common prayer. Every meeting you attend, that's the prayer most people say. Allahumma atina fi dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. So if that is the best prayer a Muslim should pray, that means for you to create a balance between the dunya and the akhirah, the first thing you must use dunya as a bridge that will transcend you from being mortal to being immortal. I don't know if you understood me. It should be the bridge that should help you transcend from being mortal, because in this world we are mortal. Finally we will die, but in the next world we will live forever. So to move from this world to the next world, you need a bridge, and that bridge is the actions that you do every day. If the actions are good in this world, most likely you will enjoy the best in the next world. But if the actions you do in this world are not very good, then you should not expect to have good life in the next world. Because in psychology, there is a law they call the law of cause and effects. The law of cause and effect says what you do today is an investment that you will reap the results tomorrow. It's also called the law of cause and effect, law of consequences. And Stephen Covey, in his book, 7 Habits of the Most Effective People, he says, always think with the end in mind. Sometimes you don't have to get worried of how you will start or how you started. You should be more worried on how the end will be, because the end is more powerful than the beginning. So as you continue growing as a young person, remember, becoming is better than being. So strive to become the best you want to be in your life. That is one thing, my dear students, you should do. Never compromise yourself. The C of compromise in psychology is referred as a social metastasizing cancer, or the C of social cancer. Because every day when you compare yourself with other people, you are automatically insulting yourself, because you are not other people. You are you. You remain you, the best you, the unique you, and there is nobody in this world like you. You are you. The moment you understand that, you will not allow anybody to become a driver of your life and then you take a position of a conductor. You will always be at the driving seat of your life. Hautakuwa bendera ya kufuata upepo. It will be very difficult for other people to influence you negatively. So it's very important to understand the B of balance stands for building bridges, so that you can establish your own brand. Your own brand. My dear young people, there are 5 S's. Every young person, if they want to have the best in this world and the best in the hereafter, should never compromise. S number 1, don't compromise your self-image. You should have an outlook of a successful person. No matter how poor you are, that should not be reflected on how you dress. No matter how poor you are, that should not be reflected on how you speak. No matter how poor you are, that should never be reflected on who you walk around with. Always wear the image of a successful individual. Sometimes they say you fake it and finally you will make it. So if your expectation of having a balance between the world and the hereafter, always remember to have an image of the person who will be successful in this world and successful in the hereafter. Dear students, the second S is the S of self-esteem. Sometimes if you allow yourself to feel weak, you give people license to mistreat you. But if you wear a decoration of strength, people will learn to respect you. And when you're respected in this world, you will be walking with zeal and a lot of energy. And in the hereafter, definitely, that will be reflected on you being awarded Jannatul Firdaus. My dear brothers, sons and daughters, the third S is the S of self-confidence. Don't allow yourself to be overpowered by anybody else if you want to enjoy the best in this world and the best in the hereafter. It doesn't matter where you come from. Your background should never dictate how your future will be. You must always make your future greater than your past. They say yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery, but today is a gift. That's why they call it present tense. Whatever you do today will add up in making you who you're becoming tomorrow. Future is never waited for. Future is created. And the best way of predicting your future is creating it yourself. I have read so many biographies of great men and women, and there is always one common thing amongst them. They started from a humble background. They started from zero and they became heroes. So that means each one of us has the opportunity to transform their lives in this world so that they can enjoy the best in this life and the best in the hereafter. S number 4. Is it number 4 or number 3? Number 4. This is the S of self-discipline. My dear boys, learn this from me today. It took me about 30 years to learn this. I wish I learned this when I was at the university. I don't think I will be the same person talking today. I would have been greater than the man I am now. Comfort makes you a slave. Discipline makes you a king. How many of you agree with that? Comfort makes you a slave. Discipline makes you a king or a queen. That means when you do what is easy when you are young, what is hard waits for you when you are old. When you do what is comfortable when you are young, what is uncomfortable waits for you when you are old. And you know what? It's very unfortunate that the time to be young is shorter than the time when you are old. According to United Nations definition of a youth is a person who is between the age of 18 to the age of 35. Now imagine if Allah is to bless you 75 good years, 80 good years, 90 good years of life. How many years will you live? How many years will you live as a youth? That means majority of us spend more time at the old age than the time we spend as a youth. 18 to 35, those are how many years? For those who are good in mathematics. 18 to 35, how many years are those? The gurus of mathematics, 17 years. What about 35 to 85? 50 good years. 50 years. So imagine you've lived 17 years of being a youth, and then you live 50 years when you are an old person. So if you don't fix yourself when you are young, it will be very difficult to fix yourself when you are old. And that's why I always tell my students, don't think you will be young the way you are today forever. Even me, one time, I was as handsome as you are. I was also 20, 25. I can recall very vividly how difficult it was to say no to some girls at the campus. You know what I'm talking about? I went to school in Nigeria. I didn't school in Kenya. Okay. We were schooling here in Kenya. Our university was very strict. You could never be seen talking to a girl, otherwise get expulsion. You will never sit on the same seat with a girl. They will always be either at the back or on this other side. And when you are seen at an odd place with a girl, you are given a red card, which was very difficult for some of us. But at the end of the day, we survived, isn't it? There's always a way of surviving. So being old is not a choice. Being old is part of life. But it is very bad when you are old and then you are stupid. Can you imagine if somebody calls me stupid? It's easy for me to call you stupid because you're still young, isn't it? And it might not hurt you so much. Yeah? Because you will know, you will accept that it is from an old man to me, a young man. But imagine a young person telling an old person, you're stupid. And you can't be stupid at the old age when you don't do the right thing when you are young. It can be very difficult. But then that is easier even. Can you imagine you are old, you are stupid, and then you are broke? And you can be broke at the age of 70. There are so many broke old men. Because when they were young, they did not plan their lives very well. And the last S is the S of self-actualization. Don't rest until you become your best. You were not born to be the least. You were born to be the first. You must make sure you beat the rest because you are the best. Don't let it rest. They say good, better, best. Don't let it rest until your good becomes better and your better becomes the best. You are not born to be the last. You are born to be the first. You must always beat the rest because you are the best. So as you walk around, have that mentality that you are the best. Wherever you are, whatever you do, whoever you are with, just have that mentality that you are the best. Can you tell yourself you are the best 10 times? 1, 2, 3, start. I am the best. 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 The best. I am the best. The best. I am the best. The best. How do you feel about yourself? Great, of course. This is called a positive psychology, which is very essential in the 21st century because it is a century where everybody is struggling to survive. Jobs are not there. Opportunities are fewer. Oppression is the order of the day. Discrimination, don't talk about it. No matter how good you are in what you're doing, somebody who is not up to your level can be ahead of you, not because he's better than you, just because somebody favored them at one point or the other. So you must be at your best. My dear students, the second letter on the balance is A. A stands for aspiration and attention. What you are aspiring for and what are you paying attention to. You can never claim that you want to be a resident of Jannah in Akhirah when you are busy being a resident of Jahannam in your life. It's not possible. If you want to be a resident of Jannah in Akhirah, you must also be a resident of Jannah in your dunya. You cannot contradict. This is another bad sea of life. The sea of contradiction. You're not walking your talk. You say one thing and you do another thing completely different. You preach water and then you drink pombe. You drink wine. You contradict. This is a very bad characteristics of a human being. The characteristic of being a munafiq. The characteristic of being someone who contradicts themselves. You don't mean what you say and you don't say what you mean. That means therefore you can never have a balance of this dunya and akhirah if you are contradicting yourself. There's something in psychology they call dual personality. Dual personality means in private you are a different person and in public you appear to be a complete different individual. Let me teach you this today. The struggles you indulge in your private life gives you glory in your public life. When you read more in private, when you study more in private, when you do more ibadah in private, in public you don't have to explain to anybody the person that you are. Because that will reflect. They say software drives the hardware. And your inside always will affect your outside. So avoid dual personality and make sure you don't contradict yourself. What you are aspiring for is what you should pay attention to. Remember this, my dear brothers and sisters. L on the word balance means it is the balance between love, what you love doing, and what you hate doing. Now the balance of the akhirah and the dunya has to be built on conformity of the traits you acquire in this life will be the traits that will save you in the next life. So balance on what you love doing and what you hate doing. If what you love doing are halal things, definitely what you'll hate doing will be haram things. And that is very clear. It's like day and night. You don't need to ask anybody. Because what is halal makes you feel good about you. When you do, you want everybody else to know that you are doing that. But haram are those things that makes your heart uncomfortable and you feel like nobody should know that you do such kind of things. So L, love what is good and hate what is bad in this dunya. Ad-dunya mata'ul hurur. One thing I want to advise you to do from today is avoid having attachment to anything that can depart anytime from you. And unfortunately, almost everything will depart from us except ourselves. So we have to do what is good to ourselves without worrying how others will see us, what others will say about us. We must always make sure we take good care of ourselves, because even your own shadow disappear in the darkness. You can never see your shadow when it is dark. You can't. You only see your shadow when there is light. People will always be with you when things are good, but people will always run away from you when things have started becoming bad. So balance between what you love doing with that which you hate doing, and you will build a bridge between dunya and akhirah. Remember, on the word balance, or it is between association and ambition. You cannot claim that you want to have the best life in this world and the best life in the hereafter, and the people you associate with are not the best. Birds of the same feather flock together. In life, you become the 10 people you walk around with every single day. If you open your phone book now, just look at the 10 people you call every day and then ask yourself, what are these people that I call every day? What kind of human beings are these people? What kind of individuals are these people? What kind of Muslims are these people? If they are good Muslims, the chances are you are also good. And if they are bad Muslims, then the chances are you are also bad. So if you want to be good, establish a network of good people. Don't associate yourself with bad people. Because when you grow up with the traits of the person that you're very close to. That's why they say, show me your friend, and I will tell you the kind of a person that you are. Birds of the same feather flock together. So association and ambition. And then how far do you want to go in your life? Sorry, but I'm just using it as an example. Do you think if everybody you know is poor, you will have a chance of becoming rich? No. Do you think if everybody you know is ignorant, not knowledgeable, you will have a chance of being knowledgeable? No. Do you think if everybody you know is bad, you will have a chance of being a good person? No. So your ambition should direct you, determine, make you make a decision of always having the right people in your circle. And there are two circles in our lives. There is a circle of influence and there is a circle of concern. The circle of concern cultivates the people who will influence you in your circle of influence. The people you are worried about will determine how you will conduct yourself around in your life, in this world and in the next world. Remember, N on the word balance is between navigation and negotiation. Navigation. If you walk around in this world, where you come from, in school, in college, back home, in your environment, what do you see? Who are you seeing? Navigating around. What do you normally look for when you walk around? What is it that grasps or grabs your attention when you walk around? Navigation means making sure you go through places, areas where you will always find what is good, not what is bad. And if by any chance you get into contact with something that is bad, then you must learn how to negotiate yourself out of that bad thing. Negotiation is one of those skills that you and me need so much in the 21st century, particularly if our intention is to make sure our life in this world will give us the visa to have better life in the next world. But if we don't have negotiation power, that means it will be very difficult for you to say no where no is required and to say yes where yes is required. I want to believe most of us have had that experience where you felt very difficult to say no to a friend, though you knew what he was suggesting was not something good. I want to believe that has happened to most of us. That sometimes you meet somebody you respect so much, you're very close to, and they suggest something to you, and you feel like that is not a good thing, but you don't have the power to say no. Ultimately, you succumb and you do it, and then you suffer the consequences. So what do I mean? I mean for you to be able to have the best in this world and the best in hereafter, you must have negotiation power, so that you are always on the upper side, not on the you are on the upper side, not on the lower side. You are on the side of giving, not on the side of receiving. There is a philosophy that is called reciprocity. This is a philosophy which says whoever does more favors to an individual will always have the power to control that individual. It's like in life, if there is somebody who has done a lot to you, given you so much gifts, given you so much assistance, so much help, if that person one day asks you for any favor, how powerful will you be to say no to that person? Most of instances are that it will be very difficult for you to say no to that person. And sometimes you might convince yourself by saying, I will just do it this time. Next time I won't do it. And when you do once, the possibility of doing twice, thrice, 10 times, 100%, 100 times is more than possible. Balance, my dear boys. Do I call you boys? Men, ladies and gentlemen. C of commitment and creativity. Commitment and creativity. What you do with ease, the result will always be what will come out with hardship. But if what you do is with a lot of hardship, its value will be very high. Every success is great success. But the best success is that success you acquire after a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. When you realize that kind of success, you become prouder of that success than when it comes very easy. What you do that sometimes appears to be very hard is what will make your life worthy telling its story in the future. So don't run away from what is hard. Embrace hardship, because where there is hardship, that is where easy is found. Innamal usri yusra. There is always a way out in every challenge, in every problem. That is why there is no padlock without a key. You cannot call something a padlock if there is no key. And there is no problem in this life without a solution. And sometimes you have to make so much problems for you to ultimately learn to live life of comfort. So as you take risks through living your life, make sure ultimately that risk will contribute in making you the best version of yourself. The next letter on the word balance is E. E is the balance between expectation and empowerment. How do you expect your life will be? For example, if I may ask you, and I don't need an answer, how do you think your life will be when you are 40? Which place will you be at the age of 40? What kind of work will you be doing at the age of 40? Who will be your wife? What kind of wife will you have at the age of 40? How many kids will you have at the age of 40? How much money will be in your bank account at the age of 40? What kind of a house will you live in at the age of 40? What kind of a car will you drive at the age of 40? How many degrees will you have at the age of 40? How many places would you have visited in this world at the age of 40? How many great men and women will you acquaint yourself with at the age of 40? Where will you land on if you die at the age of 40? Now, if you keep on asking yourself those questions, you will practice the S of the C of consciousness, which is the great C, magical C of self-discipline. You will learn to control your life. You won't just do things because you must do them. You will do things because they make sense in your life. Don't forget this. The meaning of life is living a meaningful life. And the purpose of living is living a purposeful life. Always make sure your expectation is very high, to a level where even yourself you feel like it will take you a lot of struggle to meet that expectation. Everybody in this life has an expectation. But the problem is, majority of people, their expectations are very low. Can you imagine you meet somebody at the age of 40 and they tell you, Alhamdulillah, I am now married. And you ask them, what kind of wife are you married to? I don't want to say the kind of wife that the person is married to. You can guess, I believe. You ask them, where are you living? I don't want to tell you where they are living. Guess where they are living. What are you using as a means of transport? My friend, guess. What are they using as their means of transfer? What is the balance of your bank account? Don't even ask that question. Some people, their expectations are very low. I went to Lamu one day and I was giving a talk on the importance of education. And then one old man, when I finished my talk, he got close to me and said, Alhamdulillah, mwanangu amesoma kweli kweli. Kasema mashallah. Amesoma, amemaliza klasi cha 8. According to that mzee, mwanawe amesoma kweli kweli. Alafu ananiambia mwanangu amemaliza kilasi cha 8. Amesoma. Asa, if that is the expectation, you can imagine the outcome. One of my students who is a headmaster of a primary school now, I met him one day and he told me, Malim, now I have my means of transport. I go to school, I come home, I don't have to take a Bajaj or take a tuk-tuk. I said, mashallah, are you driving a Honda Accord or are you driving a Viz? He said, no, Malim, I have the modern bicycle. It's not bad to have a bicycle, is it? But is that the best one can do in life? No. So what am I saying? Always have higher expectation. There is a book which I recommend each one of you to read, even if it's just one page per day. This book is by Napoleon Hill. It says, think big and grow rich. Not rich in terms of money, rich in terms of rich life. And what is rich life? Rich life is life of high spirituality. Rich life is life which is high of sociability. Rich life is life which has high economic expectation, which have high political affiliation, which have high of psychological inclination, which have highs of sociological connection. I don't know if you are understanding me. So at the end of the day, you reach where you want to reach. And the empowerment, that means if you want to become a medical doctor, for example, in this world, and your service is to treat sick people, what knowledge do you think you need? If your expectation is to become a great teacher, what knowledge do you need? If your expectation is to become a mufti, what knowledge do you need? At the end of the day, the empowerment is determined by the expectation that you have in your life. From today, therefore, as I conclude my talk, be aware of who you are. Be aware of who you are. Be aware of who you are. And I can comfortably tell you, my friend, you are great. Don't settle for average. Don't play it small. There is nothing exciting by playing small in your life. When you play small in this world, you will also have small in the hereafter. Play it big. Play it big. Whatever you do with yourself, do it at a very high and a big level. Always believe you can. Whatever you set out to do in this life, have the belief that you can do it. Can you repeat this after me? Say, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Now I want you to say that very fast 10 times. 1, 2, 3, start. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. Now you must do it. Seriously, you must do it. Because nobody's going to do it for you. If it is to happen that your life becomes great, you have to make it great. If it is to happen, you have to have the best in this world and the best in the hereafter. You must live the best life in this world and the best life in the hereafter. So believe you can do whatever you set out to do, and ultimately you will do it. Have consistency. Maintain consistency. Wanasema njia inayopitiwa kila siku haimei nyasi. Consistency is more important than intensity. Nobody. Can you all look at me, please? Nobody. Nobody is born a professor. Nobody is born a medical doctor. Nobody is born nobody. Everybody has to work for who they become in life. So if what you want to become in life is aeronautic engineer, just work for it and you'll be one. If what you want to become in life is a pilot, just work for it and you will become. What you do is what makes you, is what defines you, is what you finally enjoy. Success is not a destination. Success is a process of habituation. It's the little things that you do every day. When you add them up, they will make you the person you become tomorrow. Don't ever convince yourself that you cannot do what you want to do because you've never done it before. Everybody starts counting from 0. Nobody starts counting from 10. You can also start from 0. And from 0, you can grow up. And one day you can become a hero or a heroine. It's you to choose. And when you choose the best, you become the best. And when you choose the least, my friend, sorry, you remain the least. It's up to you to decide. Again, they say the direction you take in life determines the direction you take in life determine the destination you reach yourself, with yourself. So make sure as you move on to Akhirah, as you move on to your great future, and future is not just in this world, future means it's beyond this world, make sure you are facing the right direction. Make sure you're facing the right. You can't claim you're going to Nairobi and then you're facing the direction of Lamu. You can't. You can't say, I want to be a medical doctor and then you are busy failing mathematics. It's not possible. You can't say, I want to become an engineer, but you hate physics. It's not possible. So always make sure the direction you're taking is leading you to the right section. Engage, encounter, and get excited with what you're doing. When you do what you love, and you love what you're doing it becomes easy. That's the secret of conquering every aspect of life. Just love what you do. And what you do becomes easy for you. 3 W's of life. When you know when, and you have determined what, the why will drive it very easily. But first, know when you want to do it. And then ask yourself, what is it that I want to do? And then culminate it by asking yourself, why am I even doing it? If you know the reason why. And the why can make you cry. You will always fly, go so high, even if you must die. At the end of the day, you go above the sky because you know the reason why. The why is very powerful. That's what they call motivation. That's what they call inspiration. If you know why you must be the person you want to be, becoming that person is always very easy. The challenge is majority of us don't even know why we are living. Majority of us don't even know why we are in college. Majority of us don't even know why we go to school. Majority of us don't even know why we are a man or we are a woman. Majority of us don't even know why we are Muslims. Majority of us don't even know why we are in this world before we go to the hereafter. Remember, where your focus goes, your energy will follow. Where your focus goes, the energy will flow. Remember, in the interest of time, no gain without pain. If you want to have akhirah, then sacrifice the life of this dunya. And then you can have a better life in the akhirah. As you trail through the challenges of life, have at the back of your mind that though it's hard today, it's going to be easy tomorrow. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. Remember, at the end of the day, inspiration plus perspiration will take you to a destination. Again, justice should be the key that drives you to the golden door of your life. Always don't judge yourself harshly. Everybody makes a mistake. كل ابن آدم خطأ وخير خطاؤون التوابون. For you to stand, you must first fall down. You can imagine how many times you fell down when you are learning how to stand. Can you roughly think about it? How many times did you fall down when you are learning how to stand? Now, why are you worried that now you have fallen down maybe once or twice and you feel like you want to give up? Why? You had to fall down 100 times to learn how to stand. Some of us had to fall 10 times before we learned how to ride a bicycle. But we didn't give up. We mastered the skill of riding a bicycle. Then why are you so easily convinced that you should give on your dream? Because you have failed once or twice. Remember, every dream requires a scheme and a proper team to reach its beam. Otherwise, light will dim and you will never be able to achieve your dream. You will walk away with shame and you will have nobody to blame because finally you will never achieve your dream. It's very important that you keep your dream alive. No matter how hard, no matter how difficult, no matter how complicated, no matter how sophisticated it might be, one day you must make it. It doesn't matter. With the help of Allah, everything is possible. Everything is possible. But with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because mentality plus ability makes everything possible. Because the word impossible itself can be rewritten, I am possible. Remember, at the end of the day, be kind. Be kind to yourself. Don't live life of this world that will destroy you to a level where you won't even smell the aroma and the scent of paradise. Don't be self-destructive. They say when you are confused, pause. When things get difficult for you, pause. When life becomes difficult for you, pause. When people are interfering with your dream, pause. When you cannot do it, pause. When you don't have the power to continue, pause. If it's becoming and facing so many obstacles, pause. But never give up. Never give up. Never give in. There's always an answer for everything. Remember, my dear friends, brothers and sisters in Islam, overcome your limit as you grow up if you want to enjoy the way you are enjoying this world and the life in the hereafter. Overcome your limitation. You know what? Sometimes the only reason why you are not doing well is yourself. If you can conquer you can conquer every situation. So learn to conquer your ego. Learn to conquer your weaknesses. Learn to conquer your threats. Learn to conquer your limitation and you will fly as higher as you want to go. But first, conquer your fears. Again, remember, motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you growing. Understand, you must start with full force, but you should never stop in the middle because you're tired. You should only stop because you have achieved what you want to achieve. Work so hard in this world until tomorrow in the hereafter, you get into paradise without even being accountable. Because your good deeds are more than even your bad deeds. Establishing that balance is crucial in making you a person that will be guaranteed Jannah in the hereafter. Never ever say no to anything that is good in your life, anything that's add value in your life. Be optimistic. There is nothing that somebody has done that you cannot do. So avoid negative thoughts, Avoid negative thoughts. Don't tell yourself, I am weak. Don't tell yourself, I cannot do it. Don't tell yourself, I am poor. Don't tell yourself, I'm not favored. Don't tell yourself, Allah hates me. Don't tell yourself, I'm not loved. Don't tell yourself that I don't have the power to do it. Don't do that. Because what you plant in your mind is what grows in your life. If you plant limiting thoughts in your mind, that's what will grow in your life. And ultimately, you will become a dwarf in your own world. And you won't be able to move forward and enjoy the best in this world and the best in the hereafter. Remember, patience is the key to every success. So things take time. Things take time. So as you learn, as you study, as you grow, be patient. Be patient. No matter how slow your pace is, if you continue walking, ultimately you reach where you want to go. But be patient. As-sabr jamil. Inna Allah ma'as-sabirin. You know, sometimes the dangerous thing, particularly with you young people, is majority of you enjoy shortcuts. Shortcuts. I had a student who taught for many years, and now he's at the university. This is his 10th year doing medicine. So I was asking him just 2 days ago, when are you going to graduate, my friend? This is the 10th year. You are always repeating. And then he laughed and he said, Malim, you know what happened. I said, what happened? The grade I went to university with was not my grade. You know what I'm talking about? So now I'm struggling, making up what is not mine. But I also feel ashamed to tell people that I went to university with a grade that is not mine. Shortcut. Shortcut. It's dangerous. You have to make sure that you follow the system of life that will give you the power to demand for everything that is rightfully yours. Build good relationships with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have a good relationship with your parents. Have a good relationship with your fellow colleagues, peers. Have a good relationship if you have children, with your children. Have a good relationship if you are married with your wife or your husband. You can't compromise that. Can you imagine you are married to a woman you don't love and you have to spend 24 hours per day with her? Can you imagine you are sleeping in the same bed with somebody you don't love, you don't have affection to? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine you are eating on the same table with somebody you don't appreciate? No, you can't do that. That's the worst prison you can put yourself in. So love everybody who matters in your life, and life will be very beautiful. Don't take life casually. If you take life casually, you become a casualty. My dear friends, remember, when you sacrifice your today, your tomorrow becomes greater than yesterday. So sacrifice that which you love so much for that which you need so badly. Sacrifice the sleep for the book. Sacrifice the screen for the attention in your prayer. Sacrifice the one that is lower for the one that is greater. Sacrifice this world for the akhirah, because akhirah is better than this world. Whatever you do, always give more time to the one that is better than the other. Priorities are very important in our lives. Sometimes we spend a lot of time doing a lot of things with a lot of hard work. Just discover that was not very important in your life. And you know what is bad? What is bad is when you are on your deathbed, about to die, and then you discovered you lived all your life wrong. That's the worst that can happen to anybody. That you are now dying and you are discovering all the life you lived was wrong. And now you are transcending to Jahannam instead of transcending to Jannah. Remember, in the interest of time, always be thoughtful. Take time to think before you make any decision. إذا أردت أن تفعل أمرا فتدبر عاقبته فإن كان خيرا فانظر وإن كان شرا فانتهي. Cause and effect. Think before you leap. Think fast, and then you can do other things. Remember, unleash your hidden potential. You can do better than what you have been doing with your life. If you are only praying, farad prayers, now add more sunnahs into your prayers. If you have only been saving for yourself, Now give charity to other people. If whatever you have been doing is something that insignificant, make sure you add value onto it and make it more significant. You know what? On the extra mile, there is no traffic jam. So do the extras and enjoy the comfort of being at the top instead of remaining at the bottom. When you are at the top, you become a topic of discussion to everybody. But when you are at the bottom, my friend, who thinks about you? No one thinks about it. And you become irrelevant in your own life, even in your own thoughts. So be careful of what goes on in your mind. Because you and me, we are who we are today as a result of who we think we are. If your thoughts are always akhirah driven, what you will do in this life will always be things that will add up into you enjoying the best in the akhirah. My dear brothers and sisters, maintain good values. Add value in your life. Add value in your life. I always tell my students, if your dad is a fisherman, make sure, even if you want to remain a fisherman, you are now a fisherman with a degree on fisheries. If your father was a fabricator, if your father was a carpenter, now be an engineer. Even if you want to follow the footsteps of your father. At the end of the day, you should be bigger than who your father was. Because you are the son of your father. It is very painful when the grandfather was poor and the father is poor and then you decide to be poor. That means life didn't teach you enough. Your father never went to school, didn't have a degree. Your grandfather didn't have a degree. Your father didn't have a degree. And then you are also refusing to study. You know what I'm talking about? There must always be progress improvement in life. One generation should be greater than the other generation. Sometime in every family, there is that one person who plays the role of breaking the cycle of poverty in that family. Think of any family. There's always one person who will work so hard and will break the cycle of poverty. Now ask yourself this question. Are you going to be that one in your family? Is your family going to be different because you are a member of that family? Are you adding value on that family, or are you creating more burdens to your family? Can you imagine your parents took care of you? You got married, and then you married, and then you go and sleep, get children and bring those children to them to bring them up for you. They paid your school fees, now they have to pay school fees for their grandchildren. I don't think that is exciting. I don't think that is very interesting. So always learn to be a better version of your members of the family, so that you stand out in a crowd of 1 million people. The work you're doing today in this world, the work you do in this world will pay you manifold in the next world. The work you're doing today, one day it will be interesting, worthy to tell everybody else. And always make sure, if you are tired of being an ordinary person, struggle and become an extraordinary person. Always yearn for more. It's not enough until you die. It's not enough. Knowledge is not enough until you die. Money is not enough until you die. Ibadah is not enough until you die. Nothing is enough until you die. It's not over until it is over. So don't reach a point where you tell yourself, I think now I am highly educated. I think now I have enough. I think now I have acquired what I wanted to acquire. No, aspire for more. Otherwise, you will expire in your life. My dear friends, use your zeal, your energy in doing things that are right in this world, and we enjoy things that are right in the next one. Remember, this century requires 4 things. This century we are in, 21st century, 21st century. It requires K, knowledge. Okay, you can create an acronym of KASH, this century, for you to be effective in this world and effective in the next one. So I want to conclude with an acronym CASH as the principles of the 21st century. If you are in the business of making sure your life in this world is good and your life in the hereafter is also good. What do I mean by CASH? Always strive to learn more. Knowledge is power. A, your attitude plus your aptitude will take you to your altitude. S, remember every good thing requires skills. Get busy learning the right skills to survive in this life and enjoy the next life. H, we become what we do. That means we are our habits. Make sure you adopt good habits. As I close, I have two proverbs I want to give you. One, if the chameleon want to survive from a burning bush, it must abandon the walking style of its ancestors. If the chameleon want to survive from a burning bush, it must abandon the walking style of its ancestors. If you have a running stomach, you can never afford to ask for direction from a stammerer. Before he gives you the direction, you'll be diarrheaing. Thank you, and God bless you.